All right, we're back here talking a little Timberwolves, more importantly, Clippers and the Suns. We just enjoyed a blowout loss from the Timberwolves against the Denver Nuggets. And let's talk about the Suns-Clippers game going on right now. Baltz, Kevin Stanky are with me, enjoying a lovely, lovely game.
Oh,
Yeah, the Suns are coming back right now.
Out in Phoenix. So what's
10
up,
minutes left to
guys?
go. Good to see you, Garrett. Yeah, looks like a competitive game. Looked like the Suns were buried down in the dirt pretty early, but making a comeback and finding a way to claw back here.
Plus, they got the best jerseys on the court, and the court, by the way, looks cool as hell.
Does the court look as cool as the Utah court last year with the orange kind of color scheme that was going on? Do you like the purple and the yellow more?
I like this more. I mean, like, if there was more of the colors on the actual court, that would be cool. But those Utah jerseys that you were talking about, the ombre jerseys, were cool.
Yeah, these are good too, man. Phoenix is looking good. Not just in the jerseys, but as well as on the court with their play. Chris Paul has been good, man. And anytime you got Devin Booker, he just can't miss a shot.
Yeah. If
Sitting
they
at
can
the
figure
top
out
of the West
defense,
right now.
they're going to be good.
Well, Chris Paul knows how to play defense, right? I mean, he is a pesky point guard. He can make a stop. He can kind of fluster anybody in the league as far as defensively.
I hate to admit it, but Ayton is already better at defense than Karl.
It's not saying that much.
I mean, coming out of college, people thought Karl was going to be real good on that side of the court. And he just gambles for blocks too much.
Yeah, I agree. I think Karl still has a lot to show. He's never really shown that he could be the defensive presence and shot blocker that he was in college. I don't know. I guess Ayton looks good. It's been a
Did
small...
you guys get to watch the first two games of the season for
of
the
the
Timberwolves?
Wolves? Yeah.
Yeah. Like, the one thing that stood out to me is I don't think Karl isn't bitching to the refs as much. And I feel like it's going to take the whole season. But, like, eventually he's going to get more respect. Because, like, he would miss calls because he bitched so much that the refs hated him.
Yeah, that is something that's good to see from him.
He didn't do that in the two games that he played. Like, he wasn't – like, you saw him. He would, like, walk off when there was a bad call and just be like, I'm not getting into it. And maybe that maturity will help if and when he comes back. But this is, his third wrist injury? That is scary.
Yeah,
it's his
I
left
think
wrist.
he does. He did seem to not really complain as much, but I think he's out there this year trying to play as hard as he can, and he's not going to let those. He's just trying. He was trying at the beginning of the year. You could tell he was really trying to be the take control of the team, and this injury just sucks, man. The fact that he's not able to play, we need him out there.
Well, also, other than Rubio, really, I know, like, Ed Davis is older, but, like, Karl is the veteran now. Like, there's no Taj, there's no anyone. Like, he's the veteran. So it's like he's got to, like, be the guy in, like, a way that he has never had to be. There's always been someone older who's, like, the veteran presence, Jamal Crawford, anyone. And now he's just he's that guy. And so I think he wants to, like, set an example. And, like, it was noticeable because I watched every game last year, and, like, he was one of the biggest bitchers to the refs in the league.
Yeah, I wonder
Like,
how much.
every call.
I wonder how much of that is that there's fans on the court, and now that there isn't anybody out there
Yeah, that could be true.
in the stands. Hopefully, it's the case where he just figures out how to get back on defense, and that'll be the best case scenario for him. But yeah, he's. I've definitely noticed that about him, especially in the last year or two. We've seen it from other guys like Luka. You know,
But he's a point guard. He's supposed to, take the shots and not have to worry about blocking anybody that comes into the paint. Like Cat has always had a problem stepping into that defensive presence role, right? It's hard to do when you're behind the arc.
Like the thing is, like a lot of times when he gets blocks, I'm not happy about it because then he's gonna like reach for more blocks and like he needs to stay back and be that like threat, that presence back there. And he jumps out, and then we give up more layups than anyone in the league. And that was true last year, and it's true without Cat this year, and hopefully it'll get better when he gets back. Nas actually looks pretty good tonight.
Yeah, I've been happy with Nas the last 2 games, even in Washington, man. I was telling Kevin and Jeff earlier tonight that like Nas is that center, that big body that is playing like a big man, like to put up double-digit points and rebounds is awesome, and he's the only person that can fill Cat's shoes as far as minutes and defensive presence.
He took guys off the dribble twice tonight too, like from the top of the key, which is impressive. He hasn't been shooting 3 as well. Like my favorite thing when they first put Nas in last year, when like Karl was hurt and stuff. Oh, fight! We got to fight. A
little scuffle going on in the Clippers Suns game. Booker and Paul George getting into it.
Lou Will is like, back off. We need you in the playoffs. Actually, we don't, because your nickname's ridiculous. Is it Booker and George fighting? I can't hear it.
It is Booker and George talking to each other. And
oh, yeah, let's see what happened here.
Yeah, George. Zach, who's Payne?
It was a hard foul.
Booker just stepping in just for the fun of it. Giving some mean mugging.
Booker's such like a unique looking dude. He looks like a human koala hybrid. But yeah, no, I was gonna say, like when Nas first came in and got playing time last season, he was hitting like 50% of his threes, which was crazy. And this season, he has not been able to hit threes at all. So I hope that turns around.
Yeah, he's been doing an admirable job stepping in.
And he's not afraid to shoot the 3. I mean, he's showing that he can step behind the arc and put up the rainbow. But Nas Reid is a pleasant surprise. I'm happy with what I've seen so far.
We'd like to see him start out, get back into the role we thought he was going to be in when we started the season.
Yeah,
coming off the bench.
Against bench squads, I think that's why he did good tonight, because he came off the bench. Problem was, Ed Davis was pretty terrible against Jokic.
Wolves got to get some kind of 7-footer, just to play a little D.
Let me ask you about if you. We were talking about seeing more of Jared Vanderbilt. Like, why did Ed Davis get so much playing time and Vanderbilt didn't tonight? Like, I thought he played pretty good in the Washington
Vanderbilt's
game.
more of a 4, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's why, is because of Jokic. Like, I don't think Vanderbilt would have done any better than Davis on defense. He would have probably done a lot better on offense. The Timberwolves have also missed so many layups this season. Like, everyone has missed so many layups. Cat was missing layups in the first 2 games. It was excruciating to watch, even when we won.
It's been a strange season for that.
I was going to say, though, I was looking at these refs at the table here making this call. Why do refs have numbers? That's what I want to know.
Is there 60 refs numbers in the league?
Number 63, number 11, like what does that mean? So they can be like, hey, league, number 11 gave me a bad call.
You don't want these guys' names on TV. Look at some death threats.
I mean, they say them
I
all.
was-
I mean,
they
Jim
got their
Pete says
badge
them all the
number.
time.
They're protecting the refs. You're exactly right, Kevin. No names on the back of jerseys. You can't tamper with James. Pete Rose can't get involved.
You know, you hate to say it, but I watched a lot of NBA, and the two female refs have been terrible. And even when I'm not watching a Timberwolves game and they're in, they make some bad calls. And there's other bad refs in the league, for sure. But it just sucks to see, because it's like you got to this point where we have female refs, and it's a good thing. And I don't know if they feel like they have to make calls more or what, but it was the female ref tonight that made that call when Reid did nothing. And I can't remember what his name is. The Denver backup point guard.
Campuzzo.
Yeah, and I mean, that was abysmal. And then there was a play. I mean, the game was just starting to get out of hand in the beginning of the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And it very clearly went off the Denver guy's face because he was the only one traveling that direction on the court. And they called it Denver ball, and it was like, wait, what? Like, that wasn't the female ref, though. That was the other guy, the black guy with the mustache. He's been around for a long time.
Tony Cousins?
You know, number 72. I don't know. Like, whatever his number was.
I missed that play, but, yeah, I don't know.
It was bad. Like, because the Denver guy's flying down the court. Layman's coming up to contest and, like, tip this ball. And he does tip it, but it goes off the guy's face in the direction that he's running, and no one else is running in that direction. And they called it Denver ball, and it was like, wait, what?
Huh.
Like that. I mean, like, they showed the replay, and it was like, it's unquestionable. Like, it's right off the dude's face and out of bounds.
I don't know.
But Ryan had already used his challenge or something, so he couldn't do it.
There was a point earlier in the game where he was trying to keep D'Angelo Russell from getting two fouls early. He used his challenge very early on that play. I mean, you want to be able to keep Russell around for the whole game, but
I feel like we
deep
need
at that position. So
yeah, we need D'Lo to have like 2 years ago when the Rockets almost beat the Warriors and should have beaten the Warriors in the conference finals. Like that season, like James Harden like actually played defense. That's the kind of season we're gonna need from D'Lo. The season where D'Lo just plays average NBA defense.
Well, any kind of defense would be helpful, but it isn't going to matter if you can't make the shot. You can't make the big shot, and he has proven in the last few games at least to not be effective, to say the least.
But we hung with them for 3 quarters. Like, I don't know if you were listening to the audio. Like, we were
tonight's
ahead
game. Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
we turned it around in the second half. We tied the game, didn't we? So,
but what happened at that end of that game is we were giving up layups and threes, open layups and threes. And that's been the thing with the Timberwolves for like years, is when we had like Jamal Crawford, it doesn't matter how many points that dude scored. The other team would have 10 open layups in the fourth quarter because he was in the game. And I never understood when like Tibbs was the coach, why he was playing Crawford in the fourth. I'd be like, you're literally giving up free baskets right now. Like, get this guy off the court. Because, like, just like D'Lo, Crawford would get lost. And D'Lo gets lost, and his guy is just wide open. It happens all the time. And that's just trying. That's just basic trying on defense.
yeah, I agree. I'd like to see him try.
But yeah, but what you asked a long time ago that we got sidetracked by the fight and such, I think Vanderbilt obviously deserves more playing time right now.
Yeah, I think so. At least right now. Well, we're having these blowouts. Why didn't you see him in the game tonight? That's all. Would have been nice if Ed Davis has 5 personals. Doesn't matter that he plays out the game. I would say, hey, you haven't really contributed anything to the game, Ed. Take a seat.
All right, we got a 4-point game with 6 minutes left.
Ooh.
The masked man being Kawhi Leonard getting tackled by Jay Crowder.
Could Kawhi Leonard look more like a robot if he puts the mask on?
It does kind of look like a homemade mask, though.
I think that mask is amazing. Best one I've seen all year.
Someone just patched it on him.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, he probably got to get that tape switched out every quarter. Looking fresh.
Nothing was cooler than when LeBron wore the black mask for one game and just dominated. He scored like 46 points. And then the NBA was like, you can't wear this. And I was like, why not? Let him wear a black. It looks so much cooler to wear a black mask than to wear the clear mask with the white stripes.
Kawhi's got the specially formed. I mean, do they just cut the hole on the mouth out just so you can drink the water through the straw?
Yeah, maybe.
Or
He doesn't eat or drink though. He's a robot.
Odd then.
Gotta inject his nutrients. That was pretty choppy here, but that was
Yeah, I'm
like a
I'm
hook.
trying to make it less choppy for you. I don't know.
Gonna happen.
What do you think? How did the Clippers get, or not the? How did they get Batum? When did
Batum.
Charlotte drop Nicholas
Charlotte-
Batum? I'm surprised.
They just dropped him and
They stretched him
last
first,
year.
and then they dropped him. Yeah.
And
Remember when the
just picked him as free
Timberwolves?
agent.
Like, I remember being pissed off that the Timberwolves didn't get him because we made an offer and he was like a restricted free agent, and then Charlotte matched, and I was pissed. But he has not lived up because he was in that.
It
big
wasn't
cap
Charlotte
spike.
that matched. It was the Portland.
Yeah,
that was still when he was still pretty young.
Yeah,
but that was the cap spike year when like players that are like the fifth best guy on your team got $20 million a year, and I'm glad that we didn't get him because we would have been just dead.
Well, he's a good bench player. I mean, he's been doing pretty darn good for the Clippers.
Yeah, but for $20 million a year, Garrett, he is not worth that much money.
It's Gorgie Jang money. I'm thinking of Timberwolves that would have made
Yep,
money.
and we screwed up on that one too. Although he had a sick block the other night.
Yeah. Ooh.
I love Gorgie, but like he was just
Patrick-
not worth that money.
No, he was never worth that much money, but that was a weird time. That was like, he was young enough to show promise, but also they should have known better than to say like, is he really worth $20 million a year?
But at the same time, if you're a smart franchise, you can leverage that shit like the Heat did. The Heat signed a bunch of mid-tier players to too much money, but then used them in trade chips. Like, what the hell is that guy's name?
James Johnson we ended up with last
James
year.
Johnson, yes. But like,
I
there
like
was the
James
other...
Johnson too. I
point
wish he
guard.
kind of stuck around. He's been great for Dallas this year.
Oh, I loved going to
forward.
the games last year and seeing James Johnson the few times I could. Baby LeBron, that's what they called him in Miami.
Dude, he's an MMA fighter, you know that?
Yeah,
Legit. Like he would.
Bloodsport. That's
Yeah.
his nickname.
Yeah. Do you think that the Phoenix Suns is really the perfect situation for Chris Paul to go to? He has always played with a athletic big man, right? And it just continues it with DeAndre Ayton.
Well, if they can get ahead of the league and keep this record up, then they can rest Chris Paul, play him like
Yeah.
18 to 26 minutes a game the rest of the season, because the problem is just keeping Paul healthy for the playoffs.
Yeah. He always
And I
breaks
think
down early. He never is healthy for the full season, and usually at the end of the season when it matters.
The Rockets beat the Warriors that year if Paul doesn't get hurt. I mean, like, it was that close.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, that's a shame. Oh, look at this by Booker.
Did it go in, or what happened at the end?
No, he got blocked. It was just a nice move.
Yeah, was a nice move. You were saying that he's kind of a surprising player. Like, I don't expect Booker to be as athletic as he really is, right? Like, he's a great shooter and he can nail any shot, but when he needs to, he can rise up and make plays at the rim, like you just saw that got blocked.
Did you guys get to watch, like, the bubble games with Phoenix?
Not very many myself.
Saw some of those highlights from Booker, though. Definitely.
The game winner and such. Yeah. Like, I watched them. It was fun. It sucked because, like, they went 8-0 because every team got 8 bubble games. And Phoenix went 8-0, and they still didn't get even into the playoff game because other teams won enough. But it was kind of heartbreaking because it was like, give these guys a shot at the 8 seed. Like, they went 8-0, and Booker looked unstoppable.
Yeah,
He
it was
still
an
looks
amazing
unstoppable to start this year.
What's that?
He still looks pretty unstoppable to start this year. Well, this game kind of looks like it's running away from him. What was it?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because last year everyone was like, the Clippers are a lot of people's pick to win, and they're even deeper this year, and no one's even talking about. I mean, it's funny because last year everyone
Lakers
was like,
got
the
even
Clippers
deeper, though,
are
too.
a lot of people's pick to win.
It's hard to, man. You would have thought LeBron would come in washed up one of these years, but after seeing him last year, it's hard to think he's going to slow down now, especially with the rest of the teams in the league having limitations around COVID.
I definitely still think that the Lakers are the favorites, but last year it was like more people thought the Clippers were the favorite, and this year people just aren't even talking about the Clippers as like a potential. And they are deeper, and they were deep last year. Like, they got Reggie Jackson coming off the bench. Like, that dude can get you 25 points a game.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'd rather have Malik
Paul
Beasley
Westphal
than-
Memorial. If you're old enough to remember Paul Westphal.
Wow.
It's funny
I guess
because
this game isn't out of hand. Sorry, I said that.
What's that?
I guess the game's not quite out of hand. It's very attainable.
It's a game right now, yeah.
6-point game here, 3.5 to go.
Yeah, I'd like to see a team that could battle the Lakers, and the Suns definitely have the offense. But
Paul George hitting the 3.
Yeah, where's that in the
all
playoffs?
the clock.
I loved those Heat Indiana Pacers series when Paul George was young. Look at that, right back at him. But, like, I want to see that from George Paul now. He hasn't done that in the playoffs since he was, like, in his 3rd season.
Paul George has been missing. I mean,
When he hit the
he's
side of
having
the
a great game
backboard.
tonight, though.
He's got to be Robin, though. You got to run it all through Kawhi and stop trying to put it on Paul George is what Clippers got to do.
Yeah, but if
Paul-
he's going to take threes, he can't be hitting the side of the backboard in the playoffs.
Paul George has 39 points tonight, and he's he's filling up the stat sheet. He's 7 for 10 from the 3. It's pretty good.
I know. I'm just saying I want to see it in the playoffs. He
In-
called himself Playoff P. He did this to himself.
Yeah. Yes, he did. But he'll never get to be playoff P. That's the problem. That's what hurt him last year because Kawhi Leonard is playoff P, but it's playoff Kawhi.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't want it to be L because that's like, yeah. You don't want to rely on Paul George in the playoffs. You ride Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, when he hit that game winner against Philly 2 years ago, that was one of the greatest games I ever watched. That was a great game.
It was a momentous shot. It was definitely
Crazy.
It
How do you
made
get it to spin into the
and he
basket?
he had a regular season shot that was similar to that too. In that season, obviously it's a play that he works on and he does it so much.
I mean, he's just running as fast as he can side to side and then just like a fadeaway three. And it made Joel Embiid cry, and I was there for it. Cat, and side note, Cat won that fight with Embiid last year. That was amazing. But Joel Embiid won the social media battle for sure.
Yeah, Joel Embiid is not Cat. I don't care who you think you are. Cat is by far the better player. If you were starting a franchise, who would you want, Embiid or Cat?
I would want Cat because I know that Embiid's had more winning seasons, but on better teams with better coaches.
And he's not offensively as good. He's better defensively, but Kevin, we were saying like Cat can get there. He's a shot blocker. He just needs to be it. He's not that Embiid is.
But the funny thing is that like people will always talk about how Embiid can shoot the three. Embiid shoots way below league average from three. Cat's one of the best in the game.
He leads the league. Yeah, I mean
and
other than
Embiid
Curry
he plays 60% of the games this season. The dude is always hurt. So for him to be acting tough against Cat was like, what are you talking about, dude?
Agreed.
All right, we got a 3-point game, 90 seconds.
Yeah. It's going. What a cut. Kawhi missed the shot. You just don't see it that much in the fourth quarter. Chris Paul's going to put the moves. And you can't.
No dice.
Minute left.
Oh, here we go.
I mean, every possession should run through Kawhi right now, right? If he dishes it to George, isn't even moving. He knows. Paul George knows that he doesn't get the last shot in the fourth quarter under a minute left.
48 seconds.
That's very clear. I'm not saying that Paul George needs to be like their guy. It's just that he was talking like he was this playoff legend because he did have a couple good.
The three bangs out for Booker.
He had a couple good seasons in the playoffs when they took him to the conference finals against the Heat, but he hasn't done that in 9 years or whatever. And you got to do it again.
Yeah, it wasn't that. I mean, it was just last season he joined the Clippers. Season before that, he was runner-up for MVP, but
they lost in the first round.
He didn't make it happen in the playoffs, and
Oh, he got the wave from Lillard in the playoffs.
Oh,
that was
Clippers
clutch.
hit a three to go up 6.
Batum.
11 seconds left.
That iced it. The Batum. Playoff B.
You're in the Batum room.
Break out that Batuno. His name sounds like a musical instrument.
It's funny because I feel like is he like French?
Yes.
French, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like all French NBA players look like they're like just barely in shape to play professional sports.
Just drink
Like,
a little wine.
what's the Spurs guy?
What was Tony Parker?
Not Tony
Yeah.
Parker. He was in pretty good shape, but still not the top. But the big guy. God, I can't think of his name.
Boris.
Yeah, Boris.
I could totally picture him sitting on his couch drinking beer
yeah.
rather than playing in an NBA game.
Like if he was 5'8", he'd be nothing. Like just nothing. And yeah, I couldn't believe. I don't know about I obviously said earlier I'm a LeBron guy. I wanted LeBron to go to the Spurs, no matter the team or the situation.
Really?
I just wanted the best coach ever to play with the best player ever. I wanted to see that team and see what happens. Because I think it could have been interesting, and I think Popovich might be because LeBron coaches all of his teams, essentially. I wanted to see, I think Pop is the only coach that would get LeBron to listen. And he kind of listened to Spoelstra. But, I think that every other coach in the league is kind of a coach, but LeBron is basically the offense. But Pop would have gotten him to try better things, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like he's only going to go to a team that matches his storyline, you know? I don't see Spurs, being that he wants to control the team as a coach himself.
No, I know why he went to the Lakers. I'm just saying I wanted to see him go to the Spurs and see what happened. Because, when he went to the Heat, because of Pat Riley, bolstering up Spoelstra, all Dwayne Wade, LeBron, and Bosh all had their best career shooting numbers those first 2 seasons because Spoelstra, sat him down and was like, look, you're all going to get less shots than you're used to. So you got to make more. And they all shot better. And that was a respect thing based on kind of Pat Riley and shit. Game.
Yeah, game.
But I think that Pop could have gotten something out of LeBron, another gear. I think that he might be the only coach that could do that.
Well, I don't think that LeBron needs
I think he's in that,
Popovich
he's
to
in that
get
gear.
anything out of him.
He's in that gear, man.
Yeah.
Who's their coach right now? Frank Vogel?
Frank Vogel.
I don't know.
Vogler.
I think any of us could get him in that gear.
Nah, he's running the Vogel could come into a team meeting and be like, all right, we're gonna try more spread or pick and roll or whatever, and he'd be like, no, we're not, and then Vogel would be like, all right, cool. Whereas Pop would be like, all right, we're gonna play this way, we're gonna play on this side, we're gonna do this, because LeBron is in my mind the best player ever, but there's some things. He takes some bad shots. He does some things that aren't perfect. And I feel like Pop is the only coach that could get him to do that. Crack streams. Busted.
I don't think that Pops is the only guy that can get it out of him. I think LeBron can. I don't think he needed Pops. It would have been cool to see those two play together and LeBron to work with Greg Popovich, and Pops coached them on Team USA, right? So they've been there, done that. I think
Sure.
I think that was everybody's worry during free agency, that Popovich had that ear of LeBron to say come and play in San Antonio, but I don't believe, or I would find it hard to believe that LeBron ever wanted to go anywhere other than LA or needed to, I guess.
No.
And I'm not arguing.
surprised he went to
I'm just
LA.
saying he never needed to, yeah.
Again, this is just my hope. I never thought that he was going to go to San Antonio. It was just my own personal thing. I wanted him to go to San Antonio. But my favorite was Tyronn Lue, who clearly the players love him because he was a player, a bad NBA player to
With
be exact.
sweet hair.
But Tyronn Lue, just on the sideline. This is Tyronn Lue on the sideline. She's just He just is kind of a mouth breather, and he just kind of looks like he's lost all the time. And I think that's funny. Like, it was just like he could be incredibly intelligent. He just doesn't look that way. And it's funny to, like, see, like, I mean, there are so many good coaches in the NBA that get no credit. Speaking of, what do you guys think of Saunders so far?
I like him.
Well, we kind of went into it a little bit with G earlier, but I don't know, man. I think he's got a tough road to hoe right now, and
I like Saunders. We talked about it earlier tonight, Baltz, and it's hard to say. Long story short, it's hard to say that Saunders, got the fair shake of it, in my opinion, because of having to take over from Tibbs and dealing with Jimmy Butler, and then having to deal with a roster and the injuries last year and a shortened season and a long break. So yeah, he hasn't gotten a fair shake.
Yeah.
But he was also given that opportunity because his dad was Flip, right? And but I like him, and the players like him. I think he deserves this year for sure. But it is hard to think, should the Wolves start tanking because their pick, they got to give it away if it's under top 3. So if you're falling out of it, do you say, let's rebuild again and keep our pick and tank?
Yeah. I mean, he still hasn't had a real off-season training camp with the team because he joined up mid-season, and then this year there was no real training camp everything,
Yeah. Kevin, you sent that to everyone.
I can't see anyone right now, and my screen is frozen. Can you guys see me?
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine. Right now I just see a black screen with a little person emoji.
Bummers.
Well, I got to sign off.
That's cool.
But thanks for having me tonight, Gary.
Yeah, Kevin, thanks for joining on, man. It was good talking to you.
Nice to meet you.
Take care, Michael.
Baltz, what do you think? You want to keep talking? I mean, I can go on, but...
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I still think that we're a fun team to watch, and I think like we said, there's no training camp really, so it's like teams are going to play themselves into shape. So we're not going to know what this team is for another couple of weeks at least.
No, not until Karl-Anthony Towns gets back, and you can piece it together. It's frustrating because there's been so many times that the Wolves just haven't been able to play together because of injuries,
We're the least lucky franchise in the league. I was on Twitter, and there was a Pistons fan who was pissed off that the Pistons they moved down in the draft, and they're like, Timberwolves don't deserve it. They just had a first pick. And I was like, this is the first time ever in 30 seasons of Timberwolves basketball, 30, that they have moved up in a draft. And they've been in the lottery almost every year. And this is the first time that they've moved up. And that is unlucky as hell.
Yeah.
Like, we should have had Shaq. We were the worst team in the league when Shaq was the first pick. Like, we should have had all these players that we got unlucky. And then the Joe Smith punishment was way too harsh. Like, Adam Silver would never have done that because we didn't have a pick, like a first-round pick for 4 years, right?
Yeah. We didn't have a pick at least for 4 years.
That's a harsh punishment.
It was so long, yeah.
That's too harsh of a punishment for one infraction, and especially considering it was widely agreed upon that other teams were doing the same thing.
Yeah.
We just got caught.
Agreed.
But we're like an unlucky franchise, and things just don't work out. there was like someone who posted, this is like 3 years ago, but they were like, you know, yeah, the Timberwolves hadn't made the playoffs for 13 seasons until that Butler year or whatever. So people always talk about that. But like when Allen Iverson left the 76ers, it was the same year Garnett left the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
And we had the exact same record as Philadelphia since both of those players left in like 2007. And they made the playoffs like 3 times because they were in the East. Like those Kevin Love seasons, we had like 44 wins and didn't make the playoffs. In the East, that's like the 4 seed.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it could be interesting. This is gonna be an interesting NBA season, especially since it's like 72 games and everything.
I agree, man. It's going to be an interesting season. The Wolves really should be able to take it to the next level with Cat's health. That's the only thing holding them up, man.
That's the biggest thing.
It sucks that it keeps happening. We keep getting screwed, but our bad luck continues. You're right. I mean, this is the 4th blowout loss, over 15 points minimum, right? This was.
I think this one is an unfair blowout loss because it was close for 3 quarters. To me, it's like you have blowouts that are blowouts where it like was never close for like, you know, at least 40% of the game, and then you have blowouts where it was like it became a blowout at the end of the game.
Right.
And this is one of those. And like, because we hung with them, and it was a close game with some bad calls against us.
Mm-hmm.
And then they blew it up, and they deserved to win. But was it a blowout? Like, you know, that's why the final score never tells the full story.
No, it doesn't.
Because there are other games that are a blowout all the way, and then the losing team comes back and makes it close, but it was never really close, that are kind of like the opposite. It's like, it's technically worse.
That's why you play the game, though. I mean, tonight's game, we had it close early in the 3rd quarter, and it fell apart. But that's because of our health, and it's because we can't make a defensive stop. I sure like what I saw, you know, from our bench players that we haven't seen Culver play this good for a while, you know. I'm happy to see that he got the minutes and turned it into something, 20 points. But what...
Absolutely.
I want to see D'Angelo Russell play better. I want to see better things happen, dude. I mean, what do you think they need most of all? Like, other than Cat being healthy, how are they going to turn this around? They play Denver again in a couple days.
I mean, I think the way they looked the first 3 quarters was a good team that was trying. And, like, the 2 losses to the LA teams were just blowouts. And to me, the Washington thing was the fact that Washington was 0-5, and they were just way hungrier than us. Like, 100% hungrier than us. Because they were so desperate. But, like, I think we need that effort for 4 quarters. We need to see a little more of the young guys and have a little more trust and share the ball. But it was funny because, like, before the game, I don't know if you saw, like, the comments from, like, Ryan Saunders. He was like, what did he say? He was like, we need to simplify the offense. And it's like, we run one of the simplest offenses in the league. It's basically like there's a guy dribbles it up, passes to someone at the top of the key, there's some handoffs, and people shoot a 3 or they get a bucket down low. Like, that's it. Our offense is the most basic offense. It's more basic than college basketball offenses.
Mm-hmm.
So if these guys can't get it, and they didn't get a full training camp.
No.
So I'm going to give them credit for a couple weeks. But, like, they need to figure out how to run basic offense. One thing I think is they need to run more high pick and roll with D'Lo. Like, give him a pick 8 feet beyond the 3-point line with some momentum.
Yeah.
That's what he did. That's what he did in Brooklyn, and he was really good at it.
Yeah.
He was good at scoring, and he was good at passing out of that high pick and roll. But we give him a pick too close to the basket, and it's too crowded in there at that point. Like, give him the pick early and see what happens, because I bet better things will happen.
Yeah, I agree, dude. And Reid is fully capable of setting a good pick, right? And occasionally popping off of it to knock down a three like Karl would. But Ed Davis, he's not doing it. He's not cutting it. Juancho, he's not cutting it, right?
Yeah.
And who's going
Juancho,
to? Who
Juancho
else do they
not
have?
been
They
great.
don't have a big man other than Cat, and that's a downfall at this point.
Yeah, and so like Nas sets better picks than Cat. Cat always gets called for fouls because he sticks his leg out.
Yeah.
But regardless, it doesn't have to be not a big man either. Like, I would love to see some Edwards Russell pick and roll. I mean, like, we don't have to have a complicated offense. We have so many good scorers. Russell, Beasley, Edwards can all work in the pick and roll.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just need to get that pick and roll basics going. And we just haven't been able to do it. And when we do it occasionally, it works, and then we never go back to it. And it's like, to me, that's the sign of bad coaching. And I like Ryan Saunders, but I think that he wants to be liked, which does help you for your players to like you. But in the long run, you also have to be like, hey guys, this is working, this is not, do this. And sometimes I feel like he's not pushing them, because sometimes we get there. I mean, over the course of Timberwolves history, there's so many times where we're winning for 3 quarters and then we lose the game. Mm-hmm. And if that's the case, that's coaching more than anything.
Yeah, I agree. I think Ryan Saunders is a good coach. If he was a bad coach, but he's got to start getting. If he's a bad coach, then it's because he's not getting the most out of his players, and I want to believe he is.
I hope so.
I watched Beasley play against Washington, and he looked like he was energized. And that game, Beasley made some big shots. He drove it to the basket for some hard fouls. But D'Angelo Russell just couldn't make a three-pointer. The last 3 games, he can't make a three-pointer consistently. And the other teams, especially the Lakers, could, and that is our downfall.
Yeah, no, I mean, he I love Beasley, I love D'Lo, but I need to see just 30% more trying on defense from D'Lo, and I need to see a little more. He obviously needs to make some more shots, which will happen. He's gonna get into it, because he's good at that. He's our best game closer, to be honest.
Oh yeah.
But I need to see a little more control out of Beasley, because I love the fire, but sometimes he's out of control.
Yes.
I love the dude though.